So you'll remember last year, the King 5 investigators and Kruse Ingalls did this fantastic report looking at Green Hills School, which is in the Chehalis area, and the fact that there have been all of these issues with contraband, drugs, other things being smuggled in, sometimes guards helping facilitate this illegal activity behind bars, and it's putting not only guards at Green Hills School in jeopardy and staff, but also some of the other offenders there who aren't continuing to engage in criminal behavior while behind bars. And so you'll recall when King 5 first did their investigation into Green Hill, they talked to the governor and they said, hey, police wanted the cooperation of the state to go in and search this facility and carry out their investigation. The state made them serve a search warrant. The state made them jump through hoops, and then the governor said, well, we've got this taken care of. You know, police wanted the Attorney General's office. They sent the governor a letter. They wanted the Attorney General's office to open an investigation into not only what was happening at Green Hill, but what was happening across the juvenile detention system. And when King 5 asked the governor, why aren't you doing that? He said, oh, we've improved training. Got it. Because training will really help guards who are actively breaking the law and helping these offenders. Got it. And he acted like it was no big deal. Well, it continues to be a big deal. So King 5 now has a follow-up investigative report, again, from Kruse Ingalls with the King 5 investigators. The headline, overdoses continue in state juvenile facility despite the governor's insistence of improvement. So I'm going to play a couple clips from this King 5 report. First, and this is, when you think about it, it's shocking. So there was multiple calls to 911 made since November of 2023. So since the governor said, oh, everything's fine, we've got it handled, no need to look into this any further, there have been multiple calls to 911, either about something happening at Green Hill, or in one instance, it was a mom whose kid is currently being held at Green Hill. And think about this. She's calling 911. She wants a welfare check on her child who is being held inside a state-run juvenile detention facility.
911, what's your emergency? I'm calling for Green Hill School.
We have a resident overdosing.
They're Narcan and then...
We just had a code red. We're having a situation in one of the living units.
We have an inmate at Green Hill who would like to report a sexual assault.
He's an officer to stop by, pick up some contraband, makeshift weapons.
We need to roll EMS. We have possible overdose.
I'm scared. I go to sleep every night and I pray and I talk to God because I don't know if my son gonna make it through there.
Mary asked us not to reveal her identity. Why did you want that?
Because my son is still in this facility and I do not trust this facility at all. I'm fear for my son's safety.
Did your son ever have a drug problem?
No. People have came to him and dared him to take one of them pills.
And I would like to do a real care check, please. It's actually the Green Hill Juvenile Facility in Chehalis.
The Green Hill Juvenile Facility?
Mary called police in November to check on her son when administrators would not respond to her concerns.
I'm losing it right now, ma'am.
But I know people is coming close to dying at this facility. And it's really scary. I didn't, want them to rehabilitate my son and me have to worry about him not being able to make it home to me.
Law enforcement did raise some issues. I think there was some miscommunication that occurred that was really unfortunate. But I can tell you the good news is out of that has come a stronger measures to keep drugs out.
Since the governor made that statement to us in November, we've reviewed public records showing 34 911 calls from Green Hill. Many are for drug crimes or fentanyl overdoses. One call led to the recovery of a small bag of marijuana and the arrest of a Green Hill employee, Aaron Snyderman, who allegedly carried it in. In a shift from earlier statements, the governor's office now admits that Green Hill is facing unique problems that have not been fixed. The legislature altered the law a few years ago so that the state now confines young adults up to age 25 at the school. Green Hill was built to serve children and teenagers, not young adults who have a history of violence and gang activity. The governor's spokesperson told us in a statement there's a shortage of space, staff, and equipment for managing this new population.
Huh. Does that sound like improvements have been made to you? When King 5 first asked the governor about this, we've made improvements. We're improving training. 34 911 calls since the governor said that. And you heard the nature of some of them. Roll EMS. We've got an overdose happening. Fentanyl overdoses, other issues, crimes occurring, a mom whose child is being held in juvenile detention, and they won't respond to her concerns, so she wants a welfare check on her child in juvenile detention in a state-run facility. And then you hear from Kruse Ingalls, 180, the governor's office saying, okay, well, yeah, maybe there are still some issues. You think? You think? You knew there were still issues in November. The governor knew there were still issues in November, but the governor is a liar. Governor Inslee is a liar. There is no way around it anymore. He lies about everything with ease, and the media has allowed him to do that for a long time and not gone after him hard. He continues to lie about the impact the CCA is having on gas prices. Continues to do it boldly out in the open, even though his own staff said the policy was designed to increase gas prices. Even when confronted with that, he won't admit he was lying because he feels no pressure to do so, especially not now. He's going to be out of office soon. Thank God. And then you have Kruse Ingalls, which again, this is not some sort of conservative, aligned entity. This is an entity that has historically been, in my opinion, way too friendly and easy on Democrats who are in power. And so now they're saying, oh, well, Green Hill has some unique challenges. So first of all, they're not unique challenges. That's a lie. We just talked about the other juvenile detention facility that has escapes all the time of murderers who beat up guards. So is that then unique challenges to them? So are there just unique challenges at all the juvenile detention facilities? And then you talk about the bill that houses offenders up to the age of 25 at these facilities. Democrats supported that because they want this, oh, you're 25. You can't be housed in the prisons with adults. We can't have that. And so now you wonder again in that statement that they got from the governor's office, oh, we're understaffed, all of this stuff. Well, the staff you do have, some of them are criminals, as you heard in that report. And so being able to try to weed through that and hold those people accountable is very, very important. But why do you think that these juvenile detention facilities are overburdened, despite the fact that you're allowing kids, quote unquote, up to the age of 25? Could it be that you have more juveniles committing crimes? Because Democrats in this state have, increasingly so, tried to pass laws that take it easy on young people who commit even the worst of the worst crimes. And you don't think there's a cause and effect there of, oh, hey, we're giving these kids slaps on the wrist. They can do whatever they want, steal cars, do this, armed robberies, and we're going to let them out of jail. They can be home, home monitoring, or we're going to let them out with no bail at all, no big deal. And you don't think that teaches more and more kids in that generation that, hey, we can commit crimes, we can get money this way, we can do what we want. And then you've let them get away with that for so long. When they finally do get caught for something very serious, and maybe it's a homicide, it's too late. So this is a crisis of your own making. This is a crisis of the majority party's creation because they want to take it soft on people, not based on, they want to look at someone and say, here's how we deal with them, not based on the crime they committed, but based on their age, which I do think, again, at the very base level, if you've got a young person who commits a not so serious crime, yeah, we need to get them on the right track and we need to take steps to do that. You don't throw them in prison, put them in solitary confinement and throw away the key. Nobody's saying that, but this is absurd. It's dangerous. It's ridiculous. And the governor continues to lie about it. So I want to play one other thing from this King 5 report, which I'll say bothers me in a different way. So now there's been all this attention, right, toward what's happening at Green Hill. And you have police, we had on Police Chief Stacey Denham down there on the show who talked about, and he's one of the people who wanted the Attorney General's office and the governor's office to look into this. And so you do have, this is in a I would say a red area, more of a purple area of the state. So I think that you have more of a willingness of law enforcement and a desire to actually go in and investigate these things and hold people accountable. And you have a prosecutor's office who, unlike King County, might have more of a desire to follow through on actually charging some of the criminal conduct that's happening behind bars, if that makes sense. But I think to what extent? So Kruse Ingalls says that Lewis County prosecutors, now that, they had these, and I don't know if this is going to be in the clip, but they were keeping all this contraband going back years. Remember, they weren't even turning it over to police. So they'd find, staff would find contraband or whatever it is, and they'd lock it up in these lockers and label it and who the contraband was found with. But they wouldn't help police pursue charges. So now you got this backlog essentially of evidence of crimes for juveniles who were detained at Green Hill. And now all of a sudden there's this desire to go back through that and charge people based on things they should have been charged with while they were incarcerated.
In Lewis County Court, prosecutors have charged 24 of the old Green Hill cases with more filings on the way. Some of the crimes occurred years ago, raising the question, is it fair to charge them now?
I've been staying out of trouble. I've been working.
Shaquille Woods of Everett now faces felony possession of a cell phone at Green Hill, a case from more than 2 years ago, and one that threatens to upend his life.
Me and my girl live here, like, trying to be a better person, and this is just holding me back. They're trying to lock me up. I've been out for 2.5 years on probation.
Can you tell me how you got your cell phones?
I just asked the staff to bring me my cell phone. I paid him. I sent it to his P.O. box.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. And Shaquille Woods, if you need an advocate on your side to make that go away, if you truly have not been involved in any sort of law violations, this is 2.5 years ago, you have a job and you're trying to get your life back on track, to go after that man for a cell phone that the staff helped him get, and a cell phone that he could have been charged with right when it happened while he was still serving time. Yet because of the state of Washington, because of DCYF, because of this soft approach, because of the absolute disarray at these juvenile detention facilities, you just let it sit in a locker, and now law enforcement's like, hey, we got to do something about that. That's not right. And you know me, I'm very like, yeah, throw the book at people, like hard on crime. But if this is a guy who's turning his life around, you're going to undo all that progress over something that I believe is more so the fault of Green Hill School than it is of a juvenile who's like, yeah, I just asked somebody for my phone and gave him some money. That's not right. And I'll advocate for that up and down. And you know, if you had individuals who got out and went on to commit new law violations, and then you're like, hey, we also got some contraband that they had when they were at Green Hill, yeah, fine, charge them with that too. Throw it on with the new law violations if they haven't changed their ways. But this is punishing someone like Shaquille Woods, who, again, I'm taking him at his word and assuming King 5 did the due diligence to make sure that he's stayed out of trouble since his release from Green Hill. But if all of that is true, you're going to actually hurt this former juvenile, far more moving forward. And how is that in line with anything that we're trying to do with these young people? So that's stupid. So Shaquille Woods, and I mean, prosecutor's office in Lewis County, come on. I don't know where you're at ideologically, but if this is from some police department down there who listens to this show, that's stupid. Drop that case. That's ridiculous. Look into his background. Make sure he's staying on track. I don't know, maybe add some sort of community service. Make him serve some community service for something he did 2.5 years ago as a juvenile. That's ridiculous. That's coming from me. So, like, let's undo that wrong, and let's focus more of our attention on fixing Green Hill and stopping some of these issues.